Aloha. Today I wanted to talk about a number of topics that are kind of like interrelated, but circling around the our energy centers and how they get shut down, um, the vampiric consciousness that's around us, the spells that are manipulated through our everyday realities and through generations that keep us from maximizing our potential. The keys of our existence that we don't really tap into because we're constantly giving our keys away, um, and the ongoing knowledge, so-called knowledge, which is actually disinformation, or just as much as the example of that would be like as an education system as an example of how the energetic potentialities of us accessing our chakras. So, as if the brain is like a chakra, just a brain chakra, for example, then the education system is your fuel for that. Then you're only going to access your brain chakra, just to say if it was infinite, as much as the fuel of the education system, which is trying to deny a lot of things that exist, is meant to manipulate you and your children, keeps us in a limitation experience, is an amplification of the American dream, which is just another like fast food experience. So, what I was going to go into later is just the how the stomach brain is also being manipulated to only maximize, and your solar plexus as being your power center, your energy center of your experience, and that being shut down with the food that we eat. Not only shut down, but bombarded. You see people get so huge and so big because of the mental weight that we carry in that allows us to fill our bodies with the physical weight. And it's really dead energy. And you can go into the flesh eating part of it and the flesh and the blood, which I was talking about, linking that into the vampiric energies of how we experience our reality and how that links all into control. It's all based upon control, the control factor. Just like how we have pets in our homes and how we raise our pets and like treat our pets and that whole control grid, and how that relates into the transhumanism space about bringing technology into the body, and how psychologically, if you're okay with putting technology into another sentient being, like as your dog, then you will at a future date be okay with putting technology into your body or even your children's body if the psychology that's being manipulated around that space is enough to convince you. And the more you are in your not expanding space of understanding how the deeper layers of this chess game goes, then you'll be making decisions, which is what's happening on one layer of the chess game, and not realizing that there are deeper layers of the chess game that exist out there. So coming into like my journey or understanding my path or what's going on, one of the main things that I was remembering was like the idea of follow the money. It was like follow the money and you'll figure stuff out. And it's like, okay, once I follow the money, and like you get to the plateau of understanding how money exists in the reality, and you say, well, yeah, money exists in the politics and the military industrial complex and all this other stuff. But then once you get out of like that fight, that chess game fight, and be like, oh yeah, this is all about this, which is what I was doing in like the Occupy movement. When that came out, I was all about it. I was like, man, this is change. People are talking about stuff and thinking about stuff, and I'm like, yeah, good, we need to do this. And then once you start seeing the manipulation that goes on that led up to that, and how that was being utilized as a space of control, at the same time, it's also sharing information, which was good. Um, but that's the whole game. It's like release information, but also sell a different layer of control. Just like the New Age movement, a lot of people are discovering themselves, or finding out more parts of the story or more parts of their existence, um, as they go into the New Age community or New Age movement. But then they get trapped in that environment and forget that there's nothing new. There's nothing new here. All of this stuff has existed before. And even when I was going into the flat earth information and seeing, like, this was one of the first images that made me go deeper into it. This is the Mayan cosmology, or one picture of the Mayan cosmos, and seeing these harmonics of the underworld, the ancestral worlds, the stars, and this plane of existence, the harmonics of the four corners, and the center being like the pineal gland of this, the connection here, and then seeing that we're going through, like, this is the step pyramid right up of the Mayan calendar, and going from like the cellular, mammalian, familial, tribal, cultural, national cycles, planetary, galactic, and universal cycles, going through all these cycles, and having days, each days through those cycles, to go to the next and the next and the next, and realizing that we are being kept in the lower cycles because these are being bombarded. They're being amplified as one, like the animalistic behavior is amplified on movies and television, and the gladiator arenas, and like the Super Bowl is today, and then that world, the animalistic expressions of our human experience are being amplified in order to hide like our maximum potentials. So just like food, the food that you eat, the dead flesh, it's like twice dead because it's dead meat. And then it's also dead because the energy, the psychological energy that gets downloaded into those cells go into your body. So you're eating twice dead material into your bodies, which keeps you in that negative state of being. So if you can see like plants as being life here, placed here by an intelligence for us to eat and expand upon this experience and maintain these nutrients that we have in our body and go even further, then you see like the dead material as like the vampire relating to like the vampiric energies, and seeing the vampires who suck the blood of the living and only live at night, and then or come out in the evenings, and that whole thing. So basically humanity being manipulated into a vampiric consciousness and celebrating that as the experience. On the other hand, you have the education system. So everything around us is maintained to back up that reality. And this is the book that I was talking about in the last video, the Human Body book. This is a $30 ass book, where I was going into the brain. And this was the first, I only wanted to go into the brain part of this book and see if they talk about the pineal gland at all. And sure enough, this was what pissed me off at that time. This is the brain part of this book, and it doesn't mention it at all. At all. Like, it mentions everything around it, but doesn't even reference it. Now, this book does reference the pineal gland later on, but only in relation to sleep and how it puts out melatonin to, it's one sentence in here, in Hormones and the Environment, that references the pineal gland. It's only relation to experiencing light and sleep. That's it. And so if you relate that to how, like, the science that the ancient Egyptians went into breaking down the relationship of the pineal gland and the human body to the consciousness, infinite consciousness, and beyond, like everything being connected, even down to even the way it looks, then you can see that there's some kind of intelligence or a controlling type of intelligence that is being maintained or amplified to keep us, the masses, from experiencing our maximum potential. And I was relating it to like the vampiric energy. So, yeah, in relation to our dreams, it's the same thing. It's why like the American dream, literally, you wake up every morning to live out a dream that has been fabricated. An artificial reality has been fabricated for us to walk our days and train our kids to think and act a certain way, and totally disconnect themselves from what's beyond the American dream, and only live in a world that is celebrating stuff like this. And other parts of that reality are like the spell of money, and people who only live their reality only based upon money, and that reality existing because money has been manipulated to be more vibrant than life itself. Like there's people who own water, like all the water, the fresh water of our world, all the food that's out there right now. Like people are like marketing is designed for you to eat meat. Marketing is designed for you to eat plastic food. Marketing is designed like the artificial to amplify the artificial reality, to maintain a cancerous state of being, so other entities can survive off of your demise. So this is like in existence right now, and this is a layer of one chessboard game that is very obvious when you talk about control. So going into the control factor of having your power center, your solar plexus, shut down because it's bombarded with twice dead energy, is the foundation of blocking your heart, trapping in your heart from just like the calcification of your pineal gland. So, and when you have that, then, and you don't have access to your heart chakra, then you don't have access to the heart connections with people. You don't have access to your heart experience, like what you came here to do with that expression part of you. The relationships that you have, the way you perceive sex. If your solar plexus is shut down, then that affects your sacral chakra. If your sacral chakra is messed up, then you're affecting your root chakra. If your root chakra, your connection to the people around you, the planet, the food you eat, the animals, if that's shut down, that affects everything. So it's a big bombardment and very systematic design of attack on the energies that we naturally express when we are born. Right when you come out of the body of your mother, you get a number placed on you through your birth certificate that says you are this individual, and you are just an expression of the prior generation, and you are only responsible of doing what your parents did. And then if you go any further than that, then there will be separation. Now there's all kinds of, the design of separation and control is everywhere. From how we think of ourselves, how we see ourselves in our reality, our connection to the planet, the food that we eat, it's all interrelated. The food of our mind, the food that goes through our brain, the information that goes there through the education, that's food. The education system that tells you you exist within a white supremacist reality, that's food. And then you ingest that food and that becomes your reality. Um, it's no difference in fast food. That's just basically McDonald's. So it's designed to create a cancerous experience for you to ingest. And in your human body spaceship, um, you will disassemble it. You'll take the wheels off. You'll take the hyperdrive out. You'll take all this stuff away. And in the New Age community, people think they get into like the whole human body spaceship, even if they're vegan and all this other stuff. If it only exists in the New Age mentality, and you throw the old age and the ancient indigenous connections under the bus and out of this world, you're only living in half of your chakras. You're only living in half of your reality. And even that half, once you do that, you still have given your keys away. You've given your power away to another idea, because you've not only separated yourself from your own blood, your own roots and connections to what this experience actually means, you've also given your keys, your power centers away to some extraterrestrial being or star system or all the other stuff. So there's no difference there. So I hit on that. And the dreams, transhumanism, the flat earth, the Mandela effect is relating to the pineal gland and taking it out of the books, and taking the Arctic world or the Arctic land masses out of the books, and the way we experience, the way you even see. So the third eye allows you to see your metaphysical connections, your metaphysical reality, and experience. Your two eyes allow you to see, your physical reality and comprehend the physical reality. So if you can't even comprehend, if everything's all out of whack because you actually live on a flat plane, and you're seeing it inside as a globe, then that throws everything out of whack. And if you can see that as you being an expression of the plane of existence, then you are only amplifying your chakras at a meat-eating expression, which is at best a negative fuel, like diesel, like biodiesel. Like if you were to eat, if your fuel, so like biodiesel information is getting information that's beneficial for your consciousness through your third eye and even your physical eyes, that's food. Biodiesel, then the food that you eat, the biodiesel that you get for your power center and your whole foundation here, the other side of your heart chakra, if that's existing with flesh, blood, vampiric energy, food, then you're at best on a negative filler experience in your reality. So it doesn't really get into positive amplification mode until we let go of the dead energies and the stuff because even me, like I only recently went into only eating vegetables, fruits and vegetables and seeds and stuff like that, because the desire naturally went away. Just like over time I started with not eating beef and then not eating chicken, or doing as much as chicken as a while, because chicken took a while for that to go away because it was so everywhere. My family eating it, and it was all over the place. But when I was living in my own space, I was only eating fruits and vegetables and seeds and stuff like that, and because that was what's comfortable for me. I knew I was naturally in that space, and then I was only rationalizing eating the other stuff because I was used to it. It was comfortable, and that's another part of like when hardcore vegans talk about meat eaters. Like I can't go there because I used to eat meat. I can't go hardcore like that. I can see how they can go there, but it's basically like people who are addicted to drugs. Like I'm not gonna come down hard on a drug addict because of whatever they're on a drug. Just like you can't beat the shit out of a baby because a baby knocked over a glass or did something that a baby would normally do. because that's what babies do, and then each person is on their experience. They'll get through it on their own. So like me, I can see it, and I'll tell them if they try to come at me a certain way about trying to defend eating meat and all this, so I'll let them know. But as far as like as a broad spectrum observation, it's more about control how I see it. And then when you see how it adds more about control and being existing in a chess game, then it really takes all the individual stuff out of it. Yeah, because people will get there individually on their own, but if collectively everybody is like okay, like even when you turn on the TV, you'll see this giant burger and this like lady in a bikini trying to sell you a bacon double cheeseburger with all kinds of stuff on it, and I mean that's normal to people. So people are still stuck in what's normal, and then we're getting out of it eventually. But it's about really finding our keys and getting our keys back. And once we activate our own spaceships, our human spaceships, then we'll be able to go into our maximum potential beyond. And everything matters. So I guess that's what really why this video is kind of all over the place. It's like everything matters. To the water that you drink, to the food that you eat, in your stomach, in your power center here, and in your power center up here. The information that you bring in. So social media is a good example of the information going through here, through the eyes and through our experience, and that whole world. Yeah, one part it's good because we're connecting with each other and we're learning a lot of things. On the other hand, that's a very deep chess game that's being played and manipulated that involves artificial intelligence and the next steps of the transhumanistic chessboard that's being played right now that does affect everybody else. So I would actually say that eating social media, eating meat is very similar to eating social media. It's kind of like the same thing once you tap into like a direct connection to everything, or whatever you perceive as everything. Because I remember like when I stopped Facebook, it was like a whole effect. It was like a tidal wave. It was like an addictive energy there, and then like a whole thing that was there. And then once that thing finally broke off, then I could start expanding into other things and talking about other things and understanding other things that weren't blocked out by the energies of like a social media wave. And it changes. It's different for everybody, and timings and all kinds of other things. But I just wanted to throw that out there in relation to like eating only, like the food we eat, the air we breathe is like the food that we eat. So if you want to breathe air with smog in it, then that's kind of like similar to eat. If food was air, then you're eating air with meat in it, and it's like dead energy. Is going to do something negative to you. Even if you're feeling full, you're full with negative energy. So there's a difference between being full with negative energy and full with positive energy, and then being full with double negative energy, like the psychological and emotional energy of the actual cells in the flesh from being dead, and then the dead flesh. So plant life is still alive. You take in that live energy, and then you can maximize all kinds of other stuff and do all kinds of healing. So I guess I'll leave it there, and just want to kind of expand upon the fact that everything is connected. Our dreams are affected by all this, and this is really why I made this video right now, is because the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the information that we download it affects our dreams, it affects our reality, it affects our relationships and how we perceive this reality, and it gives you your power back. Like it starts to, once we start tapping into all these little things we call little, which are actually big because they're all part of the bigger picture, then we start playing the deeper chess games of ourselves and of the collective consciousness that exists. and things start to move a lot quicker, more efficiently when we start tapping into those spaces. So I just wanted to share that with people, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, keep dreaming, keep keep expanding, keep connecting the dots, and yeah, figure out how to untrap the heart chakra and start utilizing these keys of our existence. So, until next time, peace, love, and harmony.